Woohoo! And we're live once again on another Tuesday, and I have a special guest in the house today, another video nerd like me. So, Paul, before we get stuck in with our topic, can you just go ahead and introduce yourself and let people know who you are, what you do, and then we'll get chatting.
Yeah. Hi, Gillian. We've chatted already, and we are two video nerds. So my name is Paul McDermott. My company is Social Video HQ, and we help our clients to share their messages online using video, animations, and training. And if we're like a one-stop shop for video, but really focused on socials as well.
I love it. I love it. So, and as you so eloquently pointed out, we have already met. So that's always kind of fun because then it's not like, we're so tense, but we just got on like a house on fire. And again, this is just another wonderful thing about how LinkedIn brings people together because you're over in Ireland, I'm in Las Vegas. So it's just so great. So today we're talking about engaging your target audience with LinkedIn video. And I think video is going to be bigger and bigger and bigger in the year of 2023. That's the year we've just started. I hope I'm in the right year. And and it's, lots of stuff is going on. So let's go ahead and, kind of like talk about the elephant in the room. Why even bother with video? Like video, well, like we both are nuts when it comes to video. We both love video, but Paul, why anybody listening today, why should they even think about doing video?
So I think you even said it there, right? There's more and more video. And I just saw a stat on LinkedIn today, and it's from another content producer. And they were saying since 2018, video consumption worldwide has doubled, right? So 4 years, it's just doubled, right? So like this is not going away. And I suppose, why has it doubled, right? Because we were in a pandemic, we were all made to stay inside, we needed to connect with people, and connecting is fine by reading stuff and all that, but why did we switch to video calls rather than phone calls, right? Because it was a much richer way to communicate. So that's why video is going to grow and grow and grow. And just a couple of other little points on it, like, and this is an often trotted out stat, but that if a message is in a video, viewers will retain about 95% of it. And if it's in text alone, about 10%, okay? So, you're getting more across. And I know people say, particularly on LinkedIn, text posts versus video posts, but, you're not talking about engagement. You're also talking about how much information you're getting across there as well, And I think the most important thing, and we're going to come back to this in our chat, is you are building trust and authority, okay? So you're answering questions that your ideal client has, right? About your service, about their needs, but more importantly, you're building your likability, because people start to form a relationship with you because they're viewing your videos. We've talked about this, Gillian, as well, where we get clients coming on and saying, oh, I kind of think like I kind of know you already because I've been looking at your videos, right? And people buy from people, right? So and people want, and it as well, Gillian, you said we got on like a house on fire, and now we're doing a LinkedIn Live. When you get on with somebody, you do things with them, you work with them. So video, that's the special sauce with video.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And, I think, Paul, it's even more important right now with this whole AI thing, because that's something everybody is talking about right now. It's like there's all these AI programs. People are going crazy. I've been seeing posts. I think I just saw like a lot of posts, maybe 2 or 3 posts yesterday, specifically talking about people using AI on LinkedIn. There's like some sort of Chrome plugin for people to do their comments using AI. And, and we've had these very divisive camps of some people going, woo, I think this is really cool. And you have other people going, this is horrible. And of course, a lot of this stuff is against LinkedIn's terms of service anyway. So you got to be really careful where you're doing this. But in my opinion, video is actually even more important with this introduction of all this AI stuff, because this is real, like a LinkedIn Live. You're there, I'm here, we're talking. Nobody is feeding, neither one of us has a teleprompter. We're saying whatever comes out of our head, anything can happen. We're live, we're in the moment, and we're real
we're
human
real.
beings.
We're real.
We're
Yeah.
real.
And like, I've seen some great stuff about the whole, and I'm doing a lot of research on it as well, because it's there anyway. It's in the Adobe suite.
Yep.
We use it all the time. AI is and it takes away repeatable tasks. That's not bad, right?
Right.
But also, if you're just trying to say, oh, I'm just going to produce, just churn out content that isn't really, it's not really structured, it's not really real, like people will detect that, and they will just scroll past. That's all they'll do, so yeah.
Okay, so I think we've already ticked the box that video is important. Video is going to be more important with what's going on in 2023 for the user, for AI, and all those combat AI. And sometimes you use AI, like I use AI for captions. I'd like to do auto-generated captions. So there are good things. But so
absolutely.
let's step back, because we talked about, our topic was engaging your target audience with LinkedIn video. And I think this is really important, because I know so many, and I'm sure that we have the same thing based on the clients that we both work with, is that people feel they're making a video for everybody on LinkedIn. And they go, I want everybody to buy my service. Well, that doesn't work, because if we actually market to everybody, we're marketing to nobody. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like it's kind of pointless then as well. It's just so broad, right? Like niche. I think niche is a very good term, right? Like, niche in, right? And like, like I'm not an out and out marketer, but a lot of my good buddies are out and out marketers, right? And you go through the ideal client profiles, right? So basically, who are your target audience is, right? Because often it's a few, right? Create multiple, just go, okay, like, because in businesses, we're often not selling to one niche area, we're selling to a few different niches, right? And then look at each one, and then go down through each one. And the kind of questions that you're going to be asking are like, what are their interests? What are their problems, frustrations, fears, and what are their goals, right? And for us, and very importantly, where are they, right? So if they're not on LinkedIn, don't be posted on LinkedIn. Like, go to Instagram, go where they are. If they're on TikTok, they're there, right? And then always, like, and I constantly have to do this as well, right? Like, I've got my ideal clients profiles, right? And I have them in my mind, and I'm kind of going, okay, I'm going to make this content. Then you go, first question, is that this content, is it going to interest them? Is it going to entertain them? Is it going to give value to them? Is it going to solve a problem for them? And if it's not doing those things, then I'm going to stop that and think about again the content I'm going to make. Because what you're really trying to do is to do those things. So basically, what you're trying to do is, with your target audience, is you're trying to solve a problem, give them valuable information that they don't have, that they really want, and maybe entertain them a little bit along the way as well, Gillian. And that's
I like that.
and I'll come to this later on. My buzzword is infotainment, and I think it's been coming. It's been coming, and in the next year, we're going to see way more of this, where there are a lot of great creators out there, and I've tried a little bit myself, but where you're trying to create content that entertains and gets your message across.
I love that. And I've always believed that if we keep our target market in the forefront of our mind, it stops us from worrying so much about ourselves. And, video does bring this whole, oh, who am I to be talking to these people? Who am I to be making, we can really second guess ourselves and, bring along our childhood baggage of, don't be a show off and don't be doing videos and that sort of thing. But I think that if you really care about the problems of your audience and you're shifting your focus to the person on the other side of the camera, then you get less self-conscious and it helps you, it moves that needle so that you're not sitting there, blah, blah, blah. It's me, me, me. Your videos are not about you. Your videos are about them. They're for them and about them.
And if you feel that you're selling, right, stop it straight away, right? Because, because it's not selling media, it's social media. And like, because we're users as well. We are scrolling as well. And if you go to somebody and they go, and we've got this great offer, you're kind of going, but if somebody goes, and we have this one nugget of information that you've been waiting for all day, you're going to go, stop, I'm there. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely. So so if somebody was sitting there today and they were saying, okay, so my target market, should I be making videos for men or women? Like how much do you focus in? Do you think of do you make a persona of I'm making a video for Joe and Joe lives in, I don't know, Paris or something like that? Like how much do you fine tune your target audience?
I've started doing that. I've actually started imagining a person, and giving them a name, right? And imagining them in the kind of the organization that I want to work with, right? And wondering about what's the pressures on them, right? So what's the pressures from above for their bosses? What do they have to give their bosses for their boss to go, no, you're doing a good job, or you're not doing a good job, right? And also what pressures are on them from their peers and in the industry and all that. And you kind of do get into somebody's mind and kind of go, okay, so they're, so let's say they might be overworked. They might need to assimilate a lot of information all the time. They might need to produce results. And then if you can think of some way where you can offer value, where you can give them information that they don't have to go off looking for, and they can kind of even take that to one of their bosses and go, hey, this is a new trend. We should try this, So I think it's very valuable. And putting a name on them is really good. It really works.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
My target market has always been Bob. And it's I see it, and I just love Bob because it's an anagram. I think it's an anagram when it's forward and backwards is the same name. And I love Bob, and I always envision him as, I actually even bought a Bob who was like a little stick figure because I like stick figure drawings. And I always think of Bob when I look at the camera lens, and it's is Bob going to be able to use this information and move forward? And Bob is a coach, he's writing a book. I get down to the level, he's probably 40 something, 50 something. So it's and Bob has a little challenge with technology, but he wants to learn, so it's it makes it more conversational. And I think that really helps when you can really envision that person. Plus also too, if you think about it, if you have that target market, well, I don't even like target market because that's too big. But when you have your target audience, which is that person on the other side of the camera, because you can't really target an audience, that's just way too big. But then it's you're naturally going to overcome objections. So like you said, if Bob is kind of afraid of being on camera, then my videos will talk about those kind of things. It will just naturally be part of all of the videos I make if I kind of have that in mind. So
there's one thing when I'm talking to clients, because we always go through this, with their target audience, right? And I often say the anti-story. It's my own word. I don't know, but anti-story. So basically, when when one of their potential clients hits their socials, hits their website, wants their service, what things would stop them hiring or buying, right? And it could, it's stuff like pricing, location, so that, if you have those ideas in your mind when you're creating your content, you can be answering those questions for your audience,
I love
and
that.
it's always good to be aware of them, because there's no point in putting your head in the sand and going, oh yeah, they're just gonna, there are reasons why people hit your socials, hit your website, they want your service, and they won't go to the next step. And if you can start, like you said, those objections, overcoming those objections in your content, you're creating a funnel as such, aren't you?
Yep. I love it. So let's take a couple of comments and questions, and then afterwards, let's talk about, once you understand who your audience is, then how do you structure your content for that audience? So we'll come to that in a second. Yeah. So we have Marcia today. Marcia is hello, Gillian and Paul. So she's coming in from the United States. We got Christopher Johnson in the house. Greetings from metropolitan Detroit.
Excellent.
We've got Ryan. He's across the pond, somewhat near you, because he's in England. Yoo-hoo! So we got Ryan here today, and we got Al coming in from Phoenix. One of my second homes. I go back and forth to Phoenix all the time. Wonderful. Thanks, Al. And then we have Sandra Clark coming in today from San Jose, California.
I know Sandra. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. You guys have had a Zoom out together, Zoom in, Zoom out session together. So it's always nice to see everybody coming from all over the world. So I just really love the globalness of these lives. And that's the thing about video, is that, I work with clients all over the world. Now, with you, do you have a geographical base for your target audience?
I do for certain aspects of my business, right? Because there is on-site videos that we do, right? But then we also create animations, and we do training, and also we record videos for clients online, and then edit the videos for them. Sorry, I tripped up there. So I'd say it would be two ways. So like, I just think it's fantastic that, I'm talking to you in the States, when we were doing our Zoom and all that, and you were in Las Vegas and I was in Dublin and all that. I'm just having the chats. And like you said, that is the beauty of LinkedIn. And now with these lives as well, it's fantastic.
It's awesome. Yeah. And I see Kevin Turner just jumped right in. He says, late, but I'm here, Gillian and Paul. So we got Texas in the house. Very good. It's just so fun to have all these different people. So let's go ahead and talk about sort of content pillars, because that might be, maybe you could start off with even just defining that word for anybody who might say, I don't even know what that means, because I don't like to use jargon that somebody might be aware of.
Exactly. And I kind of, because I've been saying this for so often, I'm kind of used to saying it now, but obviously, so like when people start creating content, they go, oh, I'll just make a video, and all that, right? But we need to be a little bit more precise in what we're doing. It'll get us better results, right? So when we say content pillars, it's kind of like you have your target audience, right? And you need to make videos, but then you need to further assign what type of videos you're going to put out in a month, right? So for example, let's say you're going to make 4 videos a month, 1 for every week, right? So you want to split them into kind of, so it's not the same type as well, because I think people get bored as well. If you're producing the same type of stuff all the time, you need to break it up and change it, right? So it's the types of videos that you make, and I keep it very simple. I put them into 3 pillars, right? Three types of video that you would create. One is showing expertise. The other is building your credibility, and the last one, and this is the little nuggety one, is building your rapport, right? So if you just look at showing expertise, right? So myself and yourself, Gillian, we want to be the video people on LinkedIn, right? We want to
Right.
become, we are thought leaders in our area, right? In our niches, right? And we do that by answering actual questions that our ideal clients might have, right? And we give our opinions on trends. And what we're trying to do, and what everybody should be trying to do, is to become a resource for your target audience. So like they might not buy tomorrow, they might not buy for a year, right? But when something arises that they need in your area, they'll go, Gillian's the person, Paul's the person, you know. So you are associated with that, right? So like for example, at the moment, I'm doing a lot of research on the use of AI in content creation and video, and I'm looking at a lot of really great videos out there, and just seeing how it's affecting what amazing time-saving AI tools are popping up, right? And we were just talking about that before we came on air. Like, it's been there for ages, like, because we do transcripts now. They, you know, their AI is doing our transcripts for us. By God, it took so long before that. I had a short film that I put into a festival, and it was an Italian festival. I had to get an Italian maid to do that years ago. Such a laborious project, right? And now we have AIs to help us on that. So so I'm putting out stuff like that. People are interested in that, and I'm kind of a resource in that area. I know that my target audience will be interested in that. So that's expertise, right?
Yep.
Credibility is a slightly easier one. And what I would say with expertise as well, expertise should be like half of your content, in my opinion, right?
Okay.
And then credibility and rapport building should be the other half, right? Because you don't want to. So with credibility, what you're showing are testimonials, case studies, showing work you've done, right? You don't want to flood it, right? You don't want to flood your feed with that, because people might get a bit tired of it, right?
Right.
What I always think on LinkedIn, and maybe you'd back this up, Gillian, is like, I'll always chat to a client if I'm going to put up some work I've done, and I'll put it up and say, listen, this is going up, and give them the link. And often they get on and they interact with it, and they say, great, you know, great working with you on this. And this is like social proof. So people are reading this and going, oh, there's a client, and they're responding to it. Now, it's good for the client as well, because you're putting it on your platform for them as well. So you're giving them more reach. So credibility is important, and that's how you build it, by showing testimonials as well. You know, if you have video testimonials, just get them up there. And just with testimonials, like, often a lot of people think that they have to be super produced video. I often find, just with testimonials, the less produced they are, like if there's a phone and somebody's just saying, listen, we worked with these people on that, the more less produced it feels, the more real it feels for the viewer. So that's the one area I always say, that with testimonials, it doesn't matter. Like, actually, less produced is better, because for the audience, it appears more real. So that's just with testimonials. And then finally, there's the building rapport section, right? And so what we're trying to do is, we're trying to build ourselves out as real people. So we're starting that getting to know process before we even do a call, right? And like, you know, we can talk about our business and talk about things we know and all that, and that's fine, right? But that's very one-dimensional. And what we're trying to do is show other parts of us and other things about us that build us as a 3D human being, right? Now, it can be things like, you know, company culture, behind the scenes, what's going on. It can also be like, you know, I went for a run this morning, you know, because it gets my mind going, healthy body, healthy mind for work. Like, so I always think that there should be some tenuous link between your business and what you're doing and what you're saying. Like, sometimes I even used to put up pictures of my dogs and stuff, you know, but because I love dogs. But a lot of people do love dogs as well. And, you know, so like, there's one example I'd like to give, and it's so towards the end of our lockdowns here in Ireland, I did a video with my wife, who's in IT, and that was that year and a half, we were working from home for the first time together constantly. And we just did a video in my little studio here, and we just talked about just, you know, probably learned working from home, what it was like to work from home together, and just 2 or 3 questions. I put it on LinkedIn, and like I got crazy good engagement on that, right? From both our audiences on LinkedIn, because it showed like it was related to video, it was related to content, but it was also related to what was on everybody's mind, because everybody had done it, right? So we were connecting with people, with lots of people that mightn't have interacted with it before, right? So those type of things, people now think that they know me a little bit better because of seeing that video, for example, you know, and like other things that you can do. It's anything like that kind of shows a little bit more about you, your business, and interests you have. And the reason you're doing that is that you're increasing your likability as a real person.
Got it.
And then when you get to talking to them, they kind of, like we said, they kind of know you again, you know?
Exactly. It's kind of like a mini job interview in terms of, I know, like, if when you're applying for a job, everybody who, you know, the recruiter goes through the resume, the HR people go through the resumes, and then they might have like 1,000, and then they narrow it down to like, okay, here's the 10 we're going to interview.
Yeah.
So essentially those 10 people could probably all do the job. It's just a question of who would fit in personality wise with the company.
Absolutely.
And who will you feel comfortable working with. And I think sometimes those empathies, those rapport building videos, that is going to allow them to say, well, you know, she's not a good fit for me, or he is a good fit for me, based upon how you speak, how you talk, your mannerisms. You know, do you get them? You know, a lot of rapport videos are really empathy. You know, are you gonna talk jargon at me and I won't understand, and you're gonna make me feel dumb? Or do you have like a really sort of easy peasy manner, different things?
I like it.
So
I like it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think all that stuff goes together. So I see we've had a couple more people hop in our comments. We got Jeff Young coming in from the United States. He's coming in from Ohio, running late, but he's here. Woohoo, Jeff. I always love Jeff. Jeff's always my in the front row person. I love
Very
him.
good.
He's always cheering me on. Don't mess with Texas. And well, we got a Barcelona coming in today, so that's great. Now we're over in Europe as well. So hello, we've got Devandra coming in. I'm not sure where he's coming in from, but very good, very informative, he says. So that's wonderful. That's just wonderful.
Excellent.
So Paul,
Yeah.
okay, so we talked about, you know, your target audience. We've talked about your pillars of content. So what do you kind of see as, if we're moving forward with like 2023 and trends, what do you kind of see that's on the horizon that people should keep in the back of their head, considering this is the beginning of the year?
Yeah. So I was having to think about this today, and I've just been looking at a few things over the last month or so. So one thing, so I'll say the 3 things, and then I'll go into them in detail. Infotainment, right, as a word. Content are content creators that are relatable, not aspirational, okay? And behind the scenes videos, okay?
I love those.
So I'll start with the last one, behind the scenes videos. A lot of video content producers have been talking about this for the last month or two. They're getting crazy good engagement so when they make a video or make some content, they do a behind the scenes video as well, and they're nearly getting as much engagement on behind the scenes, because people want to see how it's made and what you're doing and all that. So, and just even in your business, just think about if you're doing something new, just a video with your phone showing what you're doing and all that. I think you will get good engagement on that. Relatable, not aspirational. So I've been looking at a lot of things with influencers, and aspirational was, I have the jet, I have the lifestyle, you know, and people bought into that. The relatable is, I'm like you, I'm working my way up, I'm trying my hardest, I'm making some mistakes, and the trend seems to be going to that kind of influencer, away from the aspirational. So how would we use that in our video content is maybe by being a bit more real about where we're at, maybe showing how we're trying to improve our business, so that people will connect with us in a certain way, going, oh, they're kind of like me, they're trying to get ahead. So you become relatable. So I think, even though we're not influencers, or we are, I don't know, Gillian, are we
No, I'm not. I don't want to be. Just a human.
Yeah, just a human. So, but maybe that idea that if that's coming more into flavor in general, the more relatable type of content. And then lastly is infotainment, right? So we are giving information. And so I think maybe a little challenge we can set ourselves, right, is to say, okay, I want to get this piece of information across. Can I do it in a way that'll make people smile, right? Is there some way that I can show it or something like that? I have worn wigs before and put it on LinkedIn. You know, I have an alter ego called Johnny Vague from Hit and Miss Productions, and he's a bad videographer, right? And so, and then I'm the client in the video, so I do over and back, right? And so I'll be doing more of that this year as well. And because I've been watching other creators that have been doing that, and they're making hay. Like, they really are getting engagement from it.
I love that. I love that. That's super. That's super. Well, we've come to the end of our 30 minutes. It just goes so fast.
It sure does.
So, do you want to give us kind of like one takeaway that you just kind of, you know, summon it all up, or just, you know, I want everybody to, of course, go follow you, connect with you, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But what's a takeaway that you'd give for everybody today, Paul?
Yeah. So, and that's very spur of the moment, but this pops straight into my mind, right? So, as regards making videos, right, my ethos is that you don't have to be an A-type personality, right? A lot of people think that they kind of go, oh, look at those YouTubers, they're brilliant. Like, you didn't see those YouTubers when they started, before they did 10,000 hours of recording videos, right? So practice makes perfect. People are very forgiving as long as your content is good and they can hear you and see you. And then you incrementally over time build up your delivery and also your technique and your technical ability. So a lot of people think I can't do that because I'm not an A-type personality. That is so far from the truth. It's practice and repetition, and you can get to anywhere with it. So anybody can make their own videos.
I love that. I love that. That's very empowering. And I really like that. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, Paul. I'm going to have to already think about having you come back, because I think there's just so much more that we could talk about. So this has been wonderful. Thank you for being here. And everybody, we'll see you next week with another Friends with Gillian LinkedIn Live. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.